It's the last day of the Formula Kite World Championships in Hyères in the south of France. The breeze is blowing, the sun is shining. My name's Andy Rice, this is Sophia Tomasoni, and we can't wait to bring you all the action today. Sophia, what kind of breeze and what kind of kite are they choosing today?
So most of the riders went on 15, the breeze is building up, and we expect an amazing racing day.
We certainly do. It's the top 10 men, the top 10 women, and the way this medal series is set up, anyone can still win. That's the beauty of the medal series in Formula Kite. But the lower you start, the higher the mountain you've got to climb. So firstly, we're going to watch the semi-finals. All the racing that we watched today is in four-rider semi-finals and eventually four-rider finals. And we've got people limbering up on the beach around us at the moment, like reigning world champion Max Mader, waiting to go out later on this afternoon. Lauriane Nelot is just behind the camera as well, the reigning women's world champion. Sophia, obviously they start with the advantage, but the beauty of this format is someone else can take it away. So we saw Jessie Campman and Poe Emmanuel, the other French riders, doing very well at times this week. They could be a threat to Lauriane Nelot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with this format, as you said, anything can happen. So nothing is set until the end. And I think that's the beauty of it, because until the final, we won't know what's going to happen. You know, anybody could take the world title home today. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the top riders manage the pressure and how the rest of the fleet manages to attack them a little bit and put them under pressure.
Well, the pressure is certainly on. We can feel the tension on the beach. It's taken 5 days of competition to get to this point. Let's look at what happened yesterday in the final of Gold Fleet Racing. Defending champions Max Mader and Lauriane Nelot go into the final day, into the medal series, wearing the yellow bib, meaning they're only one race win away from successfully defending their titles. As for who got the blue bibs, which is also crucial for going straight through to the four-rider final, Riccardo Pianosi's win in the final race of Gold Fleet just scraped him past Axel Mazzella, means the Italian is definitely in the final. Mazzella's going to have to fight his way out of the semis. And with Ellie Aldridge from Great Britain and Jessie Campman of France, well, Aldridge just gets that blue bib by just a single point. In fact, no points. It was nothing between them. So Campman will have to fight her way through the semis, as will the other French rider, Poe Emmanuel, who at least won 3 out of the 4 races on the last day of Gold Fleet, which surely must give her the confidence that maybe this is the year, right where she lives in her hometown of Hyères, could be the place she might take her first world title.
You're on. You're on.
With Poe Emmanuel winning 3 out of 4 races in similar conditions, I just wonder if Poe Emmanuel has the wheels today to take the fight through the semi-finals, get into that final, and maybe give Lauriane Nelot something to think about. What do you think about that, Sophia?
Absolutely, absolutely. She had a stunning day yesterday. She showed some good speed, and I mean, she was the one to beat yesterday. And I think today the conditions look quite similar. So yeah, I hope to see some good riding from Poema, that is for sure. But I think she has all the cards to put her fellow French competitor under a bit of pressure.
Well, let's see. We've got about 8 minutes to the start of the first race. We're going to be watching the semi-final men A, and in that we are going to be seeing Axel Mazzella from France, Lorenzo Boschetti from Italy, Bruno Lobo from Brazil, and Tony Vodicek from Slovenia, the 2022 world champion, who's been struggling this week. And he's had some foil trouble. Obviously, the foil, the bit that rides through the water at high speed, is an absolutely critical part of the equipment, just as important as the kite, and in some ways more important, because just the slightest blemishes on your foil can be the difference between going through the water at high speed and going perfectly nicely through the water, or a slight blemish can lead to a crash. And Sophia, it amazes me how fussy you riders are about no one touching the foils with their fingers, because the oil on the skin of your fingers can affect the flow of the water over the foils. And so if you go and help somebody on the beach, you better be really careful where you pick up those foils. Is it really as critical as that?
It is. It certainly is. We we do not like to see anybody touching the foil with their hands. No way. So the mast, which is the part that is gliding through the water, and it's that's the most important part, and nobody should be touching that at any time, because that could create ventilation, and that then turns into crashes. And I think for Tony it must have been really hard, because when you race with ventilation you kind of lose the confidence and you don't trust your foot as much, and so then you're always trying to figure out how much you're allowed to push, and how much, you know, how much strength and power to put on the foil. I think it is really quite tricky when the foil is ventilating a lot. And even if it stops ventilating, then you're always wondering, oh, am I gonna crash if I push too much? But yeah, so.
Well, funnily enough, this is what Tony said yesterday, because he did switch foils. He went to the measurer, Bruno, and asked for a change of foils, because there was some damage to the foil that he put on at the beginning of the week. And yesterday, with his older, more proven foil, he said, today I definitely felt my speed coming back. I had some previous ventilation problems with the other foil, and after changing now, I definitely feel better. But even though I know there's not going to be any ventilation, I'm still holding a little bit back, because before all the ventilation, it was really hard on the body, especially the knees. So even now there's no ventilation, he's still expecting it, and it was taking a while for his confidence to come back yesterday. So pretty much exactly what you said, Sophia, that even though he's back on his proven equipment, there's that feeling of, you know, once bitten, twice shy. You don't know how hard you can push, because you fear that moment of crashing. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a few of these things happening, and it's really frustrating, and it's really hard mentally, especially because you need to focus on something else other than just racing and pushing and speed. You know, we already have so many things to keep track of, and so the foil ventilating is one more thing to add, and so it can be very tricky, and I can fully understand what Tony is going through, and I hope that today he's gonna be feeling great on his foil, and I hope that he shows us a bit of speed and yeah, a good battle with Alex, Lorenzo, and Bruno.
Let's just show you we've got 3 minutes to go, but I think we've got time to show you how the medal series works. So let's just walk you through how we get from the top 10 through to the last 4 for the finals, and then ultimately our medal winners. And I don't know if we can show you that, so we'll keep on going, but I'll just explain it that Tony is one of the lowest qualifiers. He got through the medal series in 10th place. So in this semi-final A, just remember that 3 is the magic number. You need 3 wins to get through the semi-final, and you need 3 wins when you're in the final. So whoever is the first to 3 wins in a semi-final will win the semi-final. Whoever's the first to 3 wins in the final. So if you look at Axel Mazzella, he's got 2 stars next to his points. Those are 2 race wins that Axel Mazzella earns for having gone through the Gold Fleet in 3rd place. Lorenzo Boschetti, he goes through with 1 win, whereas Bruno Lobo from Brazil and Tony Vodicek, who we were just talking about with the ventilation, they go into this with no wins on the board. They're going to have to win 3, the Brazilian and the Slovenian, to break out of this, whereas Axel Mazzella from France, he only needs to win 1 race to book his spot in the final. And if you bear that in mind, that's the same rules that will apply later on in the final. So might sound complicated. It's really not that complicated. Just remember that it's 3 race wins that that get you in through to the next round, through to the final, and ultimately decide in the final who's going to win the gold medal. 1 minute 20. Just tell us about those kite choices again, Sophia. What kind of size range are they on, and who do you think is going to enjoy being on the 15 out of these 4 riders?
So I think they went out to the bigger kites, and then they came back in and changed to 50-meter kites because the breeze is building up. It's looking like it's going to be a bit like yesterday. So a good day for 15, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the start, because since in the medal series format, it's just 4 riders racing at the same time. It's going to be interesting to see if there is anyone choosing to do a port start, and that would save attack for the riders, as they would be starting on the opposite tack. And so that's going to be very interesting to see the tactics there and what the riders decide to do on the start.
Well, we've got 15 seconds to go, and it looks like we've got 3 lining up on starboard, which must mean that 1 is lining up on port. And they're still quite far back from the line. It looks like they've got quite a lot of time, and they're all going to be a little bit late. This is quite late for them starting, but anyway, it should be a clear start. And coming behind the rest, it's Bruno Lobo going out on port tack, while it's the other 3, Axel Mazzella, Lorenzo Boschetti and Tony Vodicek, who are going out to the left, and that's who we see in picture. That's Axel Mazzella on the left wearing the yellow. It's Lorenzo Boschetti just going out of picture on the right. So on the left of our picture now, as we see it from above, from the drone shot, it's Axel Mazzella on the left, and it is
Tony Vodicek in the middle with the kite with SLO. And yeah, we have Lorenzo just on top. Lorenzo and Tony tacking right now.
And you can see that they're already pretty much on ley line going up towards the top of the course. So it's a very, very short course indeed. And will this play into the hands of Bruno Lobo on the far side? We'll see how Bruno comes in against these 3 in a moment.
Tony is going extremely fast. He's going 26 knots of speed on the upwind. That is very, very impressive speed.
And he's going a little bit lower and faster than the others, isn't he? He's prepared to give away a bit of his height to try and sail over the top of the other 2. And it looks like Tony Vodicek is in control of his side of the course. And now it's a matter of how will Bruno Lobo come back in from the other side. And Bruno Lobo's not quite managing to get on terms with them. So it's going to be Tony Vodicek who goes around in first place, followed by Axel Mazzella and Bruno Lobo neck and neck. And at the back, Lorenzo Boschetti. Tony Vodicek doing 31 knots of speed down the course, now up to 34 knots of speed. And it's an early jibe by the back 2 by Bruno Lobo and Lorenzo Boschetti, with Axel Mazzella now jibing and Tony Vodicek now jibing in response. But Tony is the last one to jibe, but he's in a good controlling position. So this is a great start for the Slovenian, who starts the day in 10th place and desperately needs to put wins on the board. What he needs to do is make sure that Axel Mazzella doesn't win this race, because otherwise it will be game over for everyone, because Axel will book his spot in the final. So right now, Tony Vodicek on course for a race win, with Axel Mazzella chasing in 2nd place.
Looks like he's got a bit of a gap from Axel, and yeah, he's looks like he's confident on the foil today. Surely he must be pushing a lot. So well, let's see.
It's all to do here, isn't it? Because Axel Mazzella breathing down his neck, Vodicek knows that he's got to win this race to keep the semi-final alive. He needs to get the first of these race wins on the board because he starts from 0. And that forward-leaning stance of Mazzella, there's so much determination in that. Looks like Mazzella going for the tack. Vodicek responding also with the tack. And straight into the zone on port tack. Very, very slick, smooth tacks. Vodicek matching Mazzella and very similar speeds. We saw in the previous round, Vodicek prepared to sail a bit lower and a bit faster, and it looks like that's happening again with Vodicek closing gauge on Mazzella, just trying to get forwards on him, even if that's giving away a bit of windward ground. And meanwhile, further back, Bruno Lobo and Lorenzo Boschetti just going past the protection mark. Here comes the simultaneous tack. Should be the last tack of this race as they come up to the top mark for the second time round. Then it's the charge down towards the bottom of the course for the final time. Still with the Slovenian in charge just ahead of Axel Mazzella. And bearing in mind the problems that Vodicek has had with ventilation, he's back on his preferred foil now.
Anthony matching Axel's jibe right now. He's in a very controlling position now, so if he can just manage to keep himself between the buoy and Axel and just control the racing, he's gonna be able to keep the semis alive and hopefully give us a good show.
Absolutely, it looks that's the way it's going to go at the moment. Both of them jibing at the same time. How have they judged their ley line into the bottom of the course? It's going to be round the leeward mark and then tighten up for the fast reach to the finish. And there's absolutely no let up here from the pressure that Mazzella is putting on Vodicek. Mazzella really wants to see this semi-final out as quickly as possible, really putting Vodicek under pressure. Mazzella going a little bit faster and there's not much in it. Will the Slovenian be able to hold on? It looks like he's just going to do enough. So yeah, well done to Tony Vodicek and punching the air. Super happy with that. Are we seeing the renaissance of Tony Vodicek after a very difficult week for the Slovenian?
So he's now got one bullet and he now needs to win 2 more races if he wants to advance to the final, keeping in mind that Axel still needs to win 1 and 1 only to advance. So Tony is gonna have to beat Axel twice, and yeah, let's see if Lorenzo manages to win some as well.
Let's find out in a moment. We will go to a short break before we get into the next race. Five minutes to the start of the next race, and it's going to be men's semi-final B, and we are going to see some top riders in this one. Valentin Bontas from Austria, 4th at last year's Worlds, looking on track to do at least that this time round. Martin Dolenz from Croatia, Denis Taradin from Cyprus, and the ever-improving German rider Yannis Maus, who has now done enough to secure his place to go to the Games. There's a little bit of red tape to be gone through with the German Federation, but it's a good week for Yannis because he finally believes he's done enough to go to the Games, and he knows that this is going to be his best World Championship finish ever so far in his career because he's made the top 10. He's never finished inside the top 10 before, and he goes into today in fifth place. So very good sailing by Yanis Maus, who just seems to be getting better and better. And based on the conditions we've seen, Sophia, out of Bontus, Maus, Dolence, Taradin, anyone that you particularly favour to be good in these sort of medium to strong conditions, 14, 15 knots?
I think Valentin for sure. He's got a lot of speed, and I mean he's been doing really well the whole week. But Yanis was very, very solid yesterday as well. And I mean, all these riders are extremely good, and they all have a chance of advancing to the final. But I think it's gonna be hard to beat Valentin 3 times today. But yeah, it would be very, very exciting if someone managed to do that.
And Valentin also agreed to be the athlete's representative for the IKA for the class as well, and he'll be a very popular representative as well. I would think he's very popular in the fleet, isn't he?
Yeah. He's very much loved by everyone. He's a very, very good guy, and so I think everyone's really happy to have him as the representative for the athletes. And I think that's such an important job, because we do need to have a voice, and we do need to bring our ideas and help develop this class and this sport, because it is very new, and we wanna bring it to more and more people, and we wanna improve on every level. So I hope Valentin is gonna be happy to be doing this, but he's already done it for us, and he's very good, I think.
Meanwhile, he was telling me he was having trouble sleeping last night. He was running every scenario through his head, and just, you know, the nerves, and, you know, a big occasion like a world championship, the final day. He's not been there that many times in his life. I remember at the 2023 Worlds, the whole of the beach cafe was cheering him on when he managed to work his way through to the final and ended up finishing fourth in last year's World Championships, which was a big surprise to everyone, including Valentin himself. But ever since then, his expectations have gone up, and he currently sits in fourth place. But I know he'd dearly love to get onto the podium today, and that will be another step forward for the Austrian.
Yeah, I mean, he's improved so much and so quickly, and I can completely understand feeling the pressure a little bit. I mean, this is the World Championship, and he has a chance of going through the finals, which means he has a chance to potentially get a medal, and that puts a lot of pressure on you. And I think that's a whole game, isn't it? Like, trying to manage the pressure as best as you can, and just try and be with yourself and sail as clean as possible. It's just easier said than done, obviously. So I hope he'll have a bit of fun in the water as well. You know, I hope he'll manage the pressure well and have a bit of fun with it.
Well, I'm sure he's enjoying wearing that yellow jersey. We can see Valentin bottom left, yellow jersey, because he goes in on match point. He's already got the 2 wins to carry into this semi-final, so he only needs to win 1. Yanis Maus wearing blue, the German, will need to win 2, and then Martin Dolence from Croatia and Denis Taradin from Cyprus. They're the ones that go through from the bottom end of the top 10, and they're going to need to win 3 heats to progress through to the finals later on this afternoon.
So it looks like the 4 of them are all starting on starboard this time, so no port starters. And yeah, just 10 seconds to start.
That's Denis Taradin in green, Martin Dolence in red, Yanis Maus in blue, and Valentin Bontus in yellow. And it looks like a good start for Yanis Maus to the left. And so that's Maus. Looks like he's leading from this angle, but we'll see in a moment from the overhead shot who's actually got the best of the starts out of these 4 riders right now. Everyone on the charge out towards the left-hand side. The CRO on the Kite of the Croatian rider Martin Dolence. Those are the 3-letter insignia that we're going to be seeing at the Olympic Games. It was a clear start, so we know that everyone is in this race right now, and everyone blasting out to the left-hand side.
Yeah, Yanis with a low speed, creating a bit of a gap. And yeah, and the attack now. Oh no! Oh, that is Martin. No, that is Yanis Mouse. Just crashed his
bit of a-
tack.
Okay, he's back up and running, but not a good tap by Yanis Mouse from Germany, so that's going to put him on the back foot.
Oh, what a shame. It is hard to catch up.
And Valentin Bontas on the left with the yellow, looking fast ahead of Martin Dolenc from Croatia. So Bontas, he only needs to win this race and he's through to the final. And at the moment, he's looking pretty good against Croatia's Martin Dolenc.
All right.
And Yanis Mouse some way back, and also Dennis Taradin in the mix, but around in first place, Valentin Bontas, followed by Dennis Taradin, then Martin Dolenc and Yanis Mouse bringing up the rear. So Valentin Bontas holding the early advantage. Dennis Taradin attacks with a jibe. How much longer is Bontas going to go for? Now Bontas goes through the jibe, so he's not too worried about Taradin at this stage. Bontas sailing his own race.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a gap. He looks pretty solid.
There's the view back towards the beach here and here, and you can see the old town of Hyères in the background. Beautiful settings here for the World Championship, and this is the training ground where a lot of the French riders that we're watching today in these men's and women's finals also happen to base themselves. This is where they live, this is where they train, and they are racing in their home waters. But we've got no French in this particular race right now. It's Austria's Valentin Bontas sitting on match point, leading this race. If Bontas continues to lead all the way to the finish, then that will be the end of semi-final B in short, sharp fashion. So it's up to the others like Dennis Taradin in second, Martin Dolenc in third, and Yanis Mouse to see what they can do. This is the first attack is the Croatian Martin Dolenc over to the far side. Bit of a splash there through one of the waves for Valentin Bontas, but he maintains control, goes through the tack. There is there's a splash down there for Dennis Taradin, so that's going to make it even easier for Valentin Bontas to carry on ahead. His closest rival has had that crash in the tack, so bad news for Taradin and bad news for the other two, Dolenc and Mouse, because Taradin was the closest threat to Bontas. But right now, it looks like the yellow bib of the Austrian is going to see out this semi-final in short fashion, Sophia.
Yeah, it's if nothing happens, he looks pretty far ahead. Yeah, that's a bit of a shame for the other riders. Never never a nice thing to crash on a short track course, but I mean that is part of the game. That could be, as we said, a bit of ventilation or some of these unpredictable things that sometimes happen. But
he was coming up to the point where he was probably going to tack anyway, so I don't know if it was anything to do with being about to tack or what it was. But anyway, look at the gap now, because it's quite a stretch now for any of the others to be able to catch up Valentin Bontas. They're going to rely on an error from the Austrian as the rest of them chase down the Austrian, who looks like he's on his way into the final. Martin Dolenc in second, Yanis Mouse now in third, and Dennis Taradin after that crash is back in fourth place. Valentin Bontas coming down towards the bottom of the course and just about to go into his final jibe of this race, and probably the final jibe of this semi-final.
he looks very relaxed. Yeah, I mean there would be no reason to push now and risk crashing or something.
No, so he could bring his kite a little bit lower for a little bit more power, but the kite's a little bit up in the air. He's not pushing too hard, just playing it safe. And Valentin Bontas, well, he saw off the opposition quite easily. And, well, you predicted, Sophia, that it would be difficult to beat Valentin Bontas 3 times, but he wasn't even able to be beaten 1 time. There's a bit of celebration from the Austrian.
He looks very, very, very pleased. Of course, I mean, he just advanced to the final, and
the worst he can do is 4th now, which is the match what he did in last year's World Championship. So he knows at a minimum he's going to be in 4th place in these World Championships, and that is a great result, isn't it?
Yeah, what an amazing performance. And I mean, you said he was maybe feeling the pressure a little bit, but I mean, he managed it terribly well from what we've seen. So that's amazing. Very well done for the Austrian rider.
So we will go to a quick break, and then we will come into the first of our women's semi-final races.
DR5, built to win.
So there are the results. It's Valentin Bontas who took 3 wins to get through. He already carried his 2 wins through. And so he is now in the final that we'll be showing a little bit later on this afternoon, depending on how many rounds we see from the other semi-finals. We know that Tony Vodicek earlier put his first win on the board in men's semi-final A, but coming up next, we're going to be seeing the first of our semi-finals in the women's competition. And we're going to see a real class act in, or a few class acts in that, starting with Jessie Kampmann from France, Elena Lengvila from Switzerland, Daniela Moroz from the USA, and Annaloes Lammerts from the Netherlands. And these are all interesting characters in their own different ways. Daniela Moroz, up until 2 years ago, absolutely dominant in Formula Kite. She's only 23, but she's already won 6 world titles. And last year was the first year that she didn't win the world title, when Lauriane Nalot took the world title away from Daniela Moroz. But Elena Lengvila also definitely one to watch in flat water, Sophia.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this semi-final is going to be a very interesting one. All riders are extremely good. And yeah, as you said, Elena is so fast and definitely one to watch. But I mean, Jessie and Daniela are incredible riders as well, and Annaloes, I mean this semi-final is gonna be very, very good to watch. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Elena manages to maybe keep the semi-finals alive. And yeah, she would need 2 race wins to advance to the final, whereas Daniela and Annaloes would need 3 race wins and Jessie only 1. So yeah, we'll see if the French rider manages to close it soon, or if the rest of the girls are gonna give her a bit of a hard time.
Jessie Kampmann and Elena Lengvila have both been super fast at times this week. They haven't been entirely consistent all the time, and I suppose you could say the same with Daniela Moroz. So this is a very hard one to call, but I wonder if on a more open race course, tactics are more simple. I wonder the simpler it gets, the easier or the more straightforward it becomes for Elena Lengvila to use her boat speed. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in a short track, it's I think most of it is in the start. Like if you have a good start and you manage to get some good speed in the first up, when it's gonna be hard to beat that person. But I mean, I think the mindset and the mental strength is what's most important today, because if you can sail at your max speed and just try and be patient and try and manage the pressure better, I think that's what would give you a race win.
And I think all of these sailors are well trained to deal with the pressure. And Daniela Moroz, she's been here more than anybody else, 6 world titles. I would imagine that she has worked out how to handle the pressure, but she's struggled to maintain her world-beating speed as the rest of the world has caught up at times got faster than her, but she seems to be coming back on strong this week. She's only in 7th place at the moment going into the day, so she has to get 3 wins on the board to get through to the finals. But that experience that Moroz has must also count in her favour on days like today.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And I mean, Daniela's has always been performing really well, even under pressure. I mean, you can't win 6 world titles without being able to deal with the pressure, that is for sure. But Jessie and Elena are also very, very strong riders, so it's going to be hard to beat them 3 times. That is for sure. That is a big challenge that the American rider has.
It looks like everyone is lining up for starboard tack. It doesn't seem like there's great opportunities out on the right-hand side of the course. It seems to pay to get over to the left as fast as you can and get somewhere close to that left-hand ley line. That seems to be what everybody is going for right now. So it's Jessie Campman closest to the committee boat. And it looks like it's going to be Elena Langvila that's going to be closest to the pin end, the way that they're lining up at the moment.
So we have Jessie in the yellow beeb, Elena in the blue beeb, Daniela in the red, and Anna Luz in the green.
And off they go. Here's the start. And it looks like it's a good start for Jessie Campman up on the windward side of the racetrack. And not a great start for Daniela Moroz.
Yeah, looks like...
Oh, splash down.
Oh, that is Elena.
So a crash for Elena Langvila from Switzerland. Back up and running again. But that's going to be expensive for her. So will Elena Langvila be able to do catch up?
So yeah, now Jessie just has to try and sail clear and just do her race. Let's see if Anna Luz puts her under a bit of pressure. It looks like she's matching her speed, and they look very, very close.
So Jessie Campman leading at the moment. Anna Luz Lammert's putting her under pressure, and Daniela Moroz slightly back in 3rd. That's Moroz on the right of picture. Very close between Lammert's and Campman right now.
So Anna Luz is just windward of Jessie right now as they approach the ley line to the mark.
And whoever that is up there, further up the course, really needs to get out the way, because they are not part of this race. So let's make sure that whoever that is not going to get in the field of play. And now the front 3 go into their tacks. It's very close between Lammert's and Campman. It's Lammert's with a bit of a lead, and Campman struggling to get round the windward mark, having to pump the foil to get round, and now being caught by Daniela Moroz. So this is good sailing by the Dutch rider, who's stretched a bit of distance on Campman and Moroz, who are now trying to catch up, while Elena Langvila is still struggling and yet to go around the windward mark. So this has turned into a 3-horse race right now. It doesn't look like Langvila is going to get back into this.
Interesting choice by Anna Luz. She decided to jibe earlier and left the 2 riders.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. She might have seen something on the right side of the course, or maybe a bit more pressure. It's hard to tell from here, but
will this open the door for the other 2 to get down the inside of Anna Luz Lammert's coming down to the bottom of the course? We'll find out in a moment. Lammert's has already jibed, and now the other 2 jibe as well. And it could be that there is... splash down. And that's Daniela Moroz that had a brief splashdown, just as it looked like Moroz might have got into the lead. It's back with Jessie Campman now. So Jessie Campman leading and going higher and faster than Lammert's and Moroz, but a bit of a splash there for Campman as well. But Campman in control, and Lammert's, well, that was a tactical mistake down the run. That early jibe didn't work out for her. Moroz deciding to go to be the first of the tackers, followed by Lammerts, but immediate response from Jessie Campman as well.
Yeah, it looks like Jessie made the most of that situation at the downwind mark and was able to regain the lead. Very good
Race
from them.
start not clear, we've just heard, so there might be another twist in this tail. We need to find out who was over early on the line, so we will let you know when we find out. So we've just heard that Elena Langviller was UFD, so that's not going to affect things. Just Elena's not had a great start and not had a great race. So what you see is what you get here right now. It's whoever of these three wins this race. That's what matters right now. And if it's Jessie Campman, well, there will be no more racing in women's semi-final A, because it's Campman who's in pole position. Campman who's just completed the last of her tacks in this race. And now it's up to Moroz and Lammerts to try and catch the French rider. They've only got one run and one reach left in which to do that. Otherwise, it's going to be Campman booking her spot in the final. And down they come for the final leg. What will Campman do this time? Will she go for the early jibe like Lammerts did previously? I suspect she's going to take it a little bit further over towards this lay line, but one of the others might as well go for an early jibe and try something different.
I think she's going to try and match the fleet and try and control them, because she... Oh, no, it looks like she's doing an early jibe.
Unless there's not much ley line left anyway. We'll find out shortly, but I don't think she's left a huge amount of extra sailing to be done on that side of the course. So no, the others pretty much following her down. So this is still a good controlling position for Jessie Campman to be able to win this race from. And it's Daniela Moroz in second, Annalise Lammerts now back to third, and a long way back, Elena Langviller, but she will be UFD disqualified anyway for having started too soon. Last jibe completed by Jessie Campman, and it's Moroz who has closed the gap. Moroz, the six-time world champion, pushing hard to try and stay in this competition, trying to get into the final. And Moroz really going fast, might as well throw everything
Oh my
at it.
God, they are so close.
Moroz
she's pushing so much.
coming down the other side of Campman, but Campman's going to take the spot. The yellow bib wearer books her place in the final. So that is another French rider that will be joining the reigning world champion Lauriane Nelot in the final later on this afternoon. So well done to Jessie Campman, and commiserations to Daniela Moroz, Annalise Lammerts and Elena Langviller, because that's as far as the championship goes for them. So a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly for the next semi-final women. That's semi-final women B.
Meet the R1V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
So we've got 4 more women's riders for semi-final women B. We've got just over 4 minutes to the start of the next race. We're going to be looking at 4 riders: Poema Newland, Brenna Whitehead from Australia, Gal Zuckerman from Israel, and Lily Young from Great Britain.
It's going to be an interesting one, this one as well, I think. I mean, with the performance that we saw from Poema yesterday, I mean, yeah, the question is she going to be able to have the same speed and to show us the same incredible downwind and everything? And let's see.
3 wins for Poema Newland from 4 races yesterday, so she goes through in top spot. She's only going to need one race win. If she can do the same as Jessie Campman just now, that would be exactly what she would want. But Gal Zuckerman from Israel, Lily Young from Great Britain, and Brianna Whitehead from Australia are all going to have something to say about that. Whitehead starting with one race win, and the Israeli and the Israeli and British starting with no race wins. We've got 3 minutes to go. And these kind of conditions, and anyone, we've already spoken about the power of Newland. Where do you think the strongest threat will come from the other three?
I mean, Lily's an incredibly fast rider, I think, and Gal's amazing as well, and Brianna's been very solid throughout the whole week. So I would say maybe with 15 weather conditions, I would maybe say Lily might be the biggest threat to Poema, but I mean, Brianna and Gal are very, very fast as well. Gal has a very good upwind angle, and so if she starts below the other riders, might be hard to keep up with that. So yeah, I think the start is going to be crucial, and it's gonna mean a lot.
How does Gal achieve that high mode that you're talking about?
Yeah, I wish I knew. She's always had this very, very good high mode, and I don't know, it could be something about the board, the pressure on the board, and her stance on the board. Yeah, I mean, some riders are go a bit more for speed, some a bit more for angle. I guess it's about your riding style. At the end of the day, everybody has a different riding style, and Gal's for sure got a very good high mode. So we'll see. We'll see if she'll show a bit of that today.
So the breeze is still holding up. We've still got good solid conditions for the Worlds. This is day 6, the final day of the World Championships in here in the south of France, the last big event before the Olympic Games, before kiteboarding makes its Olympic debut in Paris 2024, with the Olympic regatta taking place in Marseille, not so far along the coast from where we are right now, probably less than an hour's drive from where we are. So this is, as well as being a world championship in its own right, great training for the Olympic Games. And of the ones that we're looking at here, Gal Zuckerman is going to be representing Israel in the Olympic Games, and Brianna Whitehead's going to be representing Australia. Poema Newland from France, Lily Young from Great Britain, absolutely world-class sailors, but both coming from really strong national squads, and they didn't manage to earn selection, but they're still among the best in the world, as we're about to find out. 30 seconds to go. 25 seconds to go.
It looks like it might be postponed a little bit. I don't see the riders approaching
Maybe
the line. So
it doesn't look like a lineup, does it?
yeah, I think the timing there might have been a bit off. Let's see.
It's pretty hard to tell, but I don't think that we are in a start sequence looking at the lack of lineup between these four riders at the moment.
Not quite yet.
So I think they're restarting the start sequence. So we'll see if we can go to a quick break, and we'll be back to you in a moment. So we got 50 seconds to the start. And so just to remind you, we've got Poema Newland from France, Brianna Whitehead from Australia, Gail Zuckerman from Israel, and Lily Young from Great Britain. And it looks like we're looking at 4 lining up for the start, for a starboard tack start, as we saw with the previous race. "15 seconds to go." Trying to kill the speed, trying to burn off some of the speed before they line up for the start. And wearing the yellow, Poema Newland on the left with a good start for the French rider.
Very good start. We'll see if it was a clear start in a minute. Then we have Lily Young just right behind.
And it is a clear start, so everyone's in the match here right now, but early advantage possibly to Poema Newland, but also good starts for Gal Zuckerman and Brianna Whitehead further up the course on the right-hand side. So now the speed race out into the left-hand corner.
I'm happy to see such a good start from Poema. She's been struggling with her starts a little bit in the past week, and it's very good to see her doing such a good start in such a crucial moment of the regatta. So we have the first one to tack, and I think that would be Gal going to the right-hand side of the course, followed by Lily, Brianna, and Poema that just tacked. Poema is the rider in the middle that we can see in the screen.
So Gal Zuckerman not far off the ley line. I think that might be a good call, maybe, for Gal Zuckerman, the Israeli rider, to have tacked where she did. But then again, they look a little bit higher on this side of the race course. So very close with Brianna Whitehead on the left. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there with Lily Young. Oh, but you can see that Brianna Whitehead's maybe a little bit over ley line on the protector mark. Gal Zuckerman on the right, surely going to tack fairly soon. She must be close to the ley line. And now it's a matter of how the Israeli rider's going to line up against these others. But it looks like it's Poema Newland who is in the lead. A bit of a bumpy moment there for Newland. But Newland going round in first place, followed by Australia's Brianna Whitehead, then Britain's Lily Young and Gal Zuckerman pretty much together.
Yeah.
Small advantage here for Poema Newland. Is this going to be another French rider seeing out the semi-finals in one go? Because we know how fast, you said many times yesterday, Sophia, just how fast Poema Newland is downwind.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got an incredible downwind speed, angle, everything. So, yeah. Let's see if she manages to keep the gap or even make it a bit longer. Although it looks like everybody is going very, very fast. Lily's got incredible speed. Brianna 31.9 knots on the downwind. All very, very fast. So
everyone's still very much in this fight right now, but someone needs to go overtake Poema Newland. Otherwise, this is going to be done in one. Everyone now jibed onto starboard jibe as they come down towards the bottom of the course. They're reaching the halfway point of this race with Poema Newland going round in the lead. Followed by Australia's Brianna Whitehead, then Lily Young from Great Britain and Gal Zuckerman from Israel at the back. It looks like Zuckerman going for an early tack out to the right-hand side.
And Brianna as well, I think. So Poema going to the left-hand side. Alone right now. Okay, she decides to tack, probably to control the fleet and not let them go on their own to the right side.
Lily Young carrying on further out towards the left-hand side. So the other girls trying to make it difficult for Poema Newland to protect every all splash down for Lily Young. That takes out the one side of the competition for Poema Newland. So Lily Young back up and running, but that's a critical loss of distance by the British rider, who's now really playing catch up. And Poema Newland's greatest threat now is Brianna Whitehead on the far side and Gal Zuckerman.
Yeah, a bit of a crush from Lily. So let's see if Brianna manages to to catch up with Poema, although she looks pretty stable in the lead and about to round the upwind mark.
And it looks like maybe the other two, Whitehead and Zuckerman, might be struggling on ley line a little bit. Let's see. Poema Newland just about to go round. Brianna Whitehead just about getting round, a bit of a squeeze. And then Gal Zuckerman has to tack again. So there's only really Whitehead left now as any kind of threat to Poema Newland. Poema Newland on the right-hand side, being chased by Brianna Whitehead. They're doing about 31, 32 knots of speed downwind, simultaneous jibe, but we hear there's a protest pending. We'll have to find out what that's about. There's not been a lot of close contact in this race, so I'm struggling to wonder where that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It might have been something we haven't seen at the start. I'm wondering myself as well. It's not terribly clear from our view, but we'll see what the judges say. For now, Poema's holding on to her lead pretty well, and she looks, yeah, looks very, very solid.
Okay, so we hear that there might be a point penalty for green bib, which is Lily Young. So if it relates to Lily Young, if it doesn't relate to Poema Newland, it's not really going to affect the outcome. Because as long as Poema Newland is penalty free, yes, she's still being chased by Brianna Whitehead, who is closing the gap a little bit, the Australian pushing really hard, but there's not long to go now, and that is race done and race one for Poema Newland. The French rider now books her spot in the final. So that's Campman and Newland that have now booked their place in the final. That means we're going to have 3 French riders in the final: Lauriane Nelot, Poema Newland, Jessie Campman, and it's only going to be Ellie Aldridge from Great Britain that can possibly take the world title away from France.
That is unbelievable from the French riders, like having three girls. I mean, in a final of 4 at the World Championship the year before. I mean, right before the Olympics, it's crazy. It's really, really, really impressive, I have to say. And the fact that both Jessie and Poema kept pushing, even though Lauriane's been selected to go to Olympics, they kept pushing and they kept training, and they're showing some good skills and performances. It's really impressive to see. I'm really happy for Poema as well. She started a week in 31st place, I think, after the first day. So
yeah, she had a very difficult start to the week, but she just seems to be getting better and better, and confidence growing. We will go to a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly. So that's our women's semi-finals done. But if you remember, we now go back to that semi-final A, because Toni Vodicek from Slovenia won race 1, and he kept the game alive for longer, and now it will be up to him to see if he can do it again, or maybe it will be Lorenzo Boschetti or Bruno Lobo who get a chance to take a win. What they can't afford to do is for Axel Mazzella to win the race, because Axel Mazzella started the day on match point and he didn't win the first race, but if he wins the next one, he will still go through. That will be another French rider that we see going through to a final. 3 minutes to the start. Race officer Mirko Babini on the left, just talking into his VHF radio, running back-to-back-to-back races. A lot for him and his crew to think about, but at least what they don't have to worry about is the breeze, because we've got absolutely fantastic breeze. And Sophia, now that Tony Vodicek has won one race, has he got the confidence to go and do it again?
Yeah, I'm sure that gave him a big confidence boost, and yeah, let's see if he manages to win another one. I mean, he is for sure one of the top riders, and he's got incredible speed. So he's got all the cards to advance to the final. But I mean, he's together with Axel, Lorenzo, and Bruno, which are equally very, very good riders. So let's see. But I'm happy to see him win the race and see him sail at his best, you know.
So Lorenzo Boschetti, the Italian, you will also know very well. Lorenzo very happy with his World Championship so far, but he will be a lot happier if he can progress through to the final.
Of course, of course. I mean, Lorenzo's a very good rider, and so he absolutely deserves to be in the top 10. He's been sailing really well this week, so he also has a big chance of advancing through the final. But I mean, I think his life is gonna be made hard by Tony and Axel and Bruno fighting really, really hard for it as well. It's all very tight, isn't it?
It is. And Bruno Lobo, he was top 3 early on in the championship. But the Brazilian seems to be a little bit reliant on stronger breeze to be absolutely top-end speed. And it's fairly windy today, but I think Bruno maybe needs a little bit more breeze to really come into his own and be absolutely world-class. So
he's also very, very good in wavier conditions, isn't he? Because in Brazil you get a lot of wind and waves, so I think when the sea is quite big, I think he's the one to look out for. Yeah. That is for sure.
Is the flat water a little bit more of a leveler in the sense that everybody is fast in the flat water?
Yeah, everybody is. I think. I mean, it's two different riding techniques. You know, in flat water you can push on the board a little bit more, whereas when it's really wavy you can't push that much because you need to match the waves and there's a lot going on. And so yeah, it's just two very different riding styles. So we're 20 seconds to the start now.
And now what can Axel Mazzella do this time? Can he see out this semi-final like the two female French riders have just managed to do? That's Mazzella in the yellow, Tony Vodicek, our race winner earlier, in the green. 3 seconds to go, and a charge by Bruno Lobo, the Brazilian, at the end. From this angle, looks like good starts. Let's see if it was clear starts.
Oh, someone's
a hand up.
Yeah, someone's raised his hand. It looks like it is Lorenzo, so that means that he wants to protest somehow, or he's making the jury aware of the fact there's maybe been a rule breach, possibly by Slovenian rider. We'll see. We'll get.
Could well be.
Yeah.
And that's Axel Mazzella, the first to tack away. And then Tony Vodicek also tacking away. Lorenzo Boschetti and Bruno Lobo carrying on out to the left-hand side. So we've got that raised arm of Lorenzo Boschetti that hangs over this race at the moment. We'll have to find out what that protest from the Italian is going to be about. And as you said, Sophia, the most likely candidate would probably be a protest against Tony Vodicek as having been the boat just to windward of Lorenzo.
Yeah, it's very tight at the start, very easy for the kites to touch and for the riders to be really, really close. So we'll see if that impacts Tony's result somehow, if he gets a penalty or not. For now, he's extremely close to Axel on the left-hand side of the screen. We see them tacking right now, very close to each other, and Lorenzo and Bruno as well coming from the right-hand side of the screen.
Two match races going on opposite sides of the course. They're on a convergence course, and it looks like Boschetti and Lobo are going to be coming to this top mark ahead of the other two. And this is interesting because these are the two riders in the top two spots that have yet to win a race today. Well, Mazzella hasn't won a race yet today either, but he's on 2 match points already. So remember that if Mazzella wins this race, that's the end of semi-final A in the men's competition. But at the moment, it's Mazzella at the back. Mazzella going for a jibe on the left-hand side of screen. So do all the other 3.
Yeah, Lorenzo in the lead for now. As we said, like, these four riders are all incredible. Everybody has a chance of advancing to the final, and it's it's a good battle, and it's good to see Lorenzo leading this race and possibly challenging the other two riders that have bullets. We'll see if he manages to keep the lead until the end of the race.
Lobo also being forced to jibe in above Vodicek. Lorenzo Boschetti leading into the bottom of the course. Boschetti safely round. Who's going to get round next? I think it's Vodicek, followed by Lobo, followed by Mazzella. And the left of this course seems to pay, so the longer you can hold on starboard tack, the safer I think you tend to be. But when you're at the back, like Mazzella is, I'm wondering if he's going to be tempted to go for an early tack. But at Mazzella on the right of screen, he's the guy with the 2 race wins so far. He's managed to find a high mode, so the French rider managing to hang in there, whilst on the left it's Boschetti from Italy who is still leading this race. Simultaneous tacks from Boschetti and Vodicek. Mazzella and Lobo carrying out further to the left-hand side. And now the French and Brazilian riders also tack. So everyone on port tack. Lorenzo Boschetti trying to keep Tony Vodicek behind him.
Yeah, it looks like Lorenzo and Tony are going to be coming on starboard, and Axel and Bruno are going to have to find the right spot to tack. But they look like they have quite a big gap. And Lorenzo is really fast, and he's keeping the lead, keeping up with such good riders.
Bit of a momentary splash there for Vodicek, but he remains in control in second place behind Boschetti, who leads around the top mark for the final time. And then it's Mazzella and Lobo hot on his heels. So Boschetti looking like he's on track to put a race win on the board.
Not going to be an easy day for Axel, that is for sure. He only needs 1 race win, but the rest of the riders are pushing so much. It's gonna be hard.
Mazzella certainly running out of time to be able to win this race. That's Mazzella on the left-hand side. But here we're back with the front 2. It's Boschetti leading the race just ahead of Tony Vodicek. Going into their jibes. Boschetti on the right-hand side. Protest pending. We're just being reminded there is a protest here. Now it was Boschetti that raised his hand. If
so, it is.
Boschetti was.
It is a 1.1 point for yellow.
Okay.
So that would be Axel.
Right. So we'll have to find out more about why there's a penalty point against Mazzella. But what matters to Boschetti is that he needs to keep Vodicek at bay. It's very, very close between these two right now. Will the Italian be able to get the race win? Yes, he does. So
he does.
That's the race win on the board for Boschetti. That puts him on 2 points. He's now on match point alongside Axel Mazzella, with Tony Vodicek just missing out on another race win. He's still on 1, and Bruno Lobo yet to get off the board. So Sophia, a great win by Lorenzo Boschetti from Italy.
Amazing win. Like, such good riding. He had an incredible start, and then he just managed to keep the lead the whole race and be very cool, calm and collected. So very good from Lorenzo. And yeah, as this is such an exciting semi-final, honestly.
So Mazzella still to get that win that he was looking for. There are the results so far. Boschetti now on 2 race wins alongside Axel Mazzella, and Tony Vodicek on 1, and Bruno Lobo yet to get a win on the board. So a quick break and we'll come back to you with the next race. So just over 4 minutes to the start of the next race. This will be a continuation of men's semi-final A. And now what's going through the minds of these riders? Well, for Bruno Lobo, it's time for him to get his act together, to see if the Brazilian can get a race win on the board. He still needs to win 3 races to break out of this final, whereas the others have all shown that they can win races. Tony Vodicek winning the race earlier on in the day. Lorenzo Boschetti winning just now, just keeping the Slovenian at bay. But it looks like Tony Vodicek is really on pace again. And Lorenzo Boschetti and the Slovenian Vodicek have both shown that they've got what it takes to beat Axel Mazzella. So who knows? I mean, this is going to be close.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They've all got the speed and the tactics and the the mental strength to be able to do it. So it's just up to Axel now to get one race win if he wants to close the semi-finals early, or otherwise we'll see a lot of racing and yeah, a lot more semi-finals. I think with this wind speed and 15-meter kites, I think they're all very good candidates to qualify to the final.
What do you think the others are thinking in the other heats? How are they keeping themselves calm? They're probably thinking, oh, why can't somebody just get this done so we can get on with the finals?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure everybody is ready to attack their finals. Yeah, this is part of the game, isn't it? With this semi-final format, sometimes it can take a long time, and someone can have a big comeback and keep everybody on their toes. So it's for us, it's very exciting to see. But
I love it.
We enjoy the show.
Yeah, the neutral me always wants somebody to come from way back and break through the bottom half of the top 10 and come up and win. And I remember seeing Nina Arcic, the Polish rider, come from back in 6th place in a youth event a couple of years ago. And end up winning the gold. So
yeah,
seeing what Nina was able to do that day, it goes to show what you can achieve in this medal series, the way things are set up. But certainly for Max Mader and Lauriane Nalot wearing the yellow bibs going into these finals later on this afternoon, you'd always take that. They're not getting as much race practice as the others. They're having to wait and wondering when they're actually going to get racing. But they do have that points advantage of being on championship point.
yeah.
2 minutes 20 to go. And Axel Mazzella, Lorenzo Boschetti, Bruno Lobo and Tony Vodicek now in a very even fight. And Mazzella will be disappointed that he hasn't managed to see out the single race win that he needed to get this done. But the French rider is still on match point, but so now is also Lorenzo Boschetti from Italy.
Yeah, I think this race could be it if either Lorenzo or Axel take the race win home. But we have Tony that is ready for the attack. So if Tony manages to win this one, then it is absolutely open. And then I think the next one is gonna be the one. So let's see how many semi-finals they're going to be running.
Not that, I mean, Bruno Lobo's not that slow either, is he? I mean, it's quite possible that he could be yet another race winner.
He absolutely could be. Yeah, it's just going to be a little bit harder because he's going to have to win 3, and so yeah, just a bit harder for the Brazilian rider. But he certainly is amazing and has very good speed.
No one's thinking about the port tax start option today. We've seen that as a real winner at other venues, but we're not seeing that here today. It seems like the left-hand side of the race course, closer to the French shore, is the safer bet. We do see people tacking out to the right-hand side, but more in desperation than because that's their first choice tactical option. And again, it looks like we're coming in for 4 starboard tack starters.
Yeah, and again, I think the start is possibly the most important part of this kind of racing. I mean, if you can get an advantage in the start and just keep the lead throughout the rest of the race, you're pretty much done. So, yeah, it's a very crucial part of the racing.
Axel Mazzella on the left in yellow, leading in towards the start, but then acceleration by Lorenzo Boschetti in blue just as they get off the line. Also a good start for Tony Vodicek with SLO on his Kite. And just at the back, Bruno Lobo. Looks like Bruno Lobo is going to be the first attack. And meanwhile, Axel Mazzella going okay, but it looks like better starts for Vodicek and Boschetti. Vodicek looking fast right now on the right-hand side of picture. Boschetti also good. Boschetti going for the tack.
Looks like Tony is in a very good spot right now. Just matching Axel's tack now.
So this is slipping away from Mazzella. He's not going that fast today, it seems. It looks more like Boschetti and Vodicek have the legs on Mazzella. As I say that, Mazzella's got a good high mode on the right-hand side. But I'd say at the moment, the battle is more between Vodicek and Boschetti. And as for Bruno Lobo, who tacked off earlier, we'll have to see how he comes back in when they converge at the top of the course again.
Yeah, I mean, they're all so incredibly fast. So it is a bit hard for Axel to win a race, of course, as he's against such good riders. But yeah, here they go. So Tony, the first one to approach the mark, looks like, and followed by Lorenzo right behind, and Axel, followed by Bruno in fourth place. So it looks like Tony is in the lead now. Lorenzo decides to jibe a bit earlier.
So very close between the front three right now. Axel Mazzella, Tony Vodicek and Lorenzo Boschetti. Not much to separate them. Bruno Lobo playing catch up. Boschetti out on his own while these two...
Oh, it looks like Axel...
It's got ahead of Vodicek.
Yeah, he overtook. He overtook Vodicek.
Very fast riding. Mazzella's in a different mode here. He's going lower and faster than Vodicek. And what can the Slovenian do to respond? Well, they both do simultaneous jibes, but it looks like Mazzella somehow has got himself into the lead. So that's a critical gain for Mazzella, who now pulls into the lead ahead of Vodicek and Boschetti. Bruno Lobo bringing up the rear. So now Mazzella has put himself back in the box seat again. Don't quite know how he managed to do that, but that was a very good run by the French rider.
Incredibly good. Yeah, he rounded the upwind mark in third place, and he managed to gain 2 places just with 1 downwind. And in a short track, that is very, very impressive, I think. So now Lorenzo attacking earlier and going to the right-hand side, followed by Tony and Axel, that just decided to tack now.
Mazzella determined to hold on for this. But it's so close between these three all day long. Axel Mazzella with a marginal advantage. Tony Vodicek not quite able to match the French rider's speed at the moment, and Boschetti further over on the right-hand side. This is going to be tense all the way to the end of this race. Here comes the tack by Boschetti. And now all three have tacked. Axel Mazzella leaving a little bit in the tank, which enables him to do a nice, smooth bear away and just stretching a little bit more distance on Tony Vodicek, with Lorenzo Boschetti back in third. Different stances. What do you make of these different stances downwind, Sophia?
I mean, Tony's riding on a Levitas, whereas Axel and Lorenzo are riding on a Chubanga. So, yeah, the stance difference could be because of the foil or simply because of the riding style. It's it's hard to say. I mean, everybody has a different feeling on the board and a different stance. But yeah, definitely not the same riding style, I would say, from French rider and Slovenian rider.
Now, I've just heard that Lorenzo Boschetti was UF disqualified, so he was over the line at the start. We've only just heard that, but Boschetti is back in third right now, and it's Mazzella who goes round the bottom of the course in the lead. Mazzella is just moments away from booking his spot in the final. Could this be the third French rider that we see get into a final after we've already seen Poema Newland and Jesse Campman do exactly the same? So on these French waters, the French riders are absolutely on fire. Axel Mazzella taking his place in the final. Tony Vodicek, well, he got better on the final day, but it wasn't quite good enough to overtake the Frenchman. So relief for Axel Mazzella, who made hard work of that. He got there in the end.
Yeah, it wasn't easy for him, but yeah, he managed to in the end. So amazing. One more French rider in the finals.
So there we have it. Our semi-finalists are Axel Mazzella and Valentin Bontus. In the men, and in the women, it's Jesse Campman and Poema Newland who go through to the women's final. We'll go to a break. Back to you shortly. So the breeze is still blowing nicely here in the south of France. We now have our finals coming up. And there is the confirmation. Axel Mazzella winning 3 races, or winning 1 race and taking through his 2 race wins as the highest qualifier from that semi-final. He was third going into the day, and now Mazzella, along with Bontus, they know that they can't finish lower than 4th. It's into the finals alongside Riccardo Pianozzi from Italy in the blue bib and Max Mader from Singapore in the yellow bib. There's Max Mader, Riccardo Pianozzi, Axel Mazzella, Valentin Bontus. And 3 of those riders were in the final, but you swap out a Tony Vodicek from last year's final and you replace that with a Riccardo Pianozzi, and then you have a similar lineup, but not quite the same as we had for the finals last year in The Hague in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, similar, but not the same. We'll see. Riccardo had a really good week, so I mean, of course, entering the final in second place with 1 bullet, it's a big advantage. And yeah, let's see if he manages to win 2 races and possibly take the gold home. I mean, he won the Europeans last year. He's been doing so well, and it would be, but he's not yet been on top of a World Championship podium. So this might be his moment. Or will Max take it home again? We're about to see.
There's, I mean, anyone else, those other 3 are going to have to be absolutely at the top of their game, because Max Mader has barely put a foot wrong this week. There have been chinks of opportunity, like when he had a crash a couple of days ago, and Valentin Bontus was able to get past Max Mader in the last day of qualifying. But those opportunities to beat Max Mader are far and few between. So just in front of our commentary area, we see Axel Mazzella swapping out his yellow bib that he was wearing in the semi-final. He now goes to a red bib for the final. And Valentin Bontis will be swapping his yellow bib from his semi-final to a green bib for the final.
So
We'll go to a quick break. We'll come back to you shortly.
DR5, built to win.
all right, so
So-
it looks
Still with a postponement at the moment. That's the red and white flag on the left. There's the red and white checker flag, which is the start flag, but the red and white flag at the back, the postponement flag. We're just waiting for the riders to swap lycras into correct colours so that we know who's who for this final.
so we've just seen Excel changing into his red bib for the final. So they'll be starting soon.
And the breeze, what would you say? Is it getting a little bit stronger or staying about the same?
Looks like it's staying about the same. Yeah, I haven't seen any kite changes, and it looks like it's the same as before, doesn't it?
Still a solid 15 square meter kite kind of conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been amazed by the conditions this week. Such beautiful conditions, and you know, usually in year you could get days with the 35, 40 knots and hectic wind and hectic launching kite situations going on. It's always very exciting, scary, and tricky when we come here. But this competition, we've been having such beautiful conditions and just very calm. And
You're absolutely right. I mean, to get sort of in the middle conditions where it's not too light and it's not too strong. I've done so many Olympic weeks in 470s and 49ers where you're either drifting around in nothing or
Yeah.
it's blowing a mistral off the mountains, blowing 35, 40 knots, which you
Yeah.
can probably deal with in kites, but in boats, that's a lot of wind.
yeah, that is way too much. I mean, it is a lot for us as well. It's always crazy, and the thing is, for us to launch a kite when the wind is so gusty and strong, it's very hard and tricky. So
We're getting
so let's see. But yeah, and must say that Olympic sport, it's also it can also be quite hectic and crazy as well. I mean, I've done a few trainings there, and it's it was very windy. Sometimes light, but sometimes very windy and a bit wavy.
So the riders just waiting to get things underway again. Still waiting to get these lycras sorted out and then back into race mode again. And we are just a minute or two away from getting into sequence for the men's final. And so now this is the time for these three riders, Riccardo Pianozzi, Axel Mazzella and Valentin Bontis, to see if they can take the fight to Max Mader, the 17-year-old from Singapore who won last year's World Championship and is one race away from winning another. He's been absolutely supreme all week, so it's very much within Max Mader's hands to win another world title. There are 3 minutes 40 to go until the start. And the breeze is blowing beautifully. It's solid conditions, about 14, 15 knots of breeze in the south of France. We're on the last day of competition. This is the last opportunity for these guys in a competitive environment to practice what they do best before they go into the Olympic Games about 2 months from now.
Must be quite special for Axel to be racing in home waters, and I mean in front of the home crowd and everything. Must be a very, very good feeling, and I mean that could be the thing that gives you a bit more of a push, you know, like that gives you that bit of motivation and passion that could separate yourself from the rest of the fleet. Like it's a good motivation. It's a good good and exciting moment, I think.
Yeah, Axel Mazzella, he's certainly not in this game for the fame. He's quite shy, quite media shy. But I think as he's getting closer to the Olympic Games, especially with it being in France, he's beginning to realise that, like it or not, that is part of the game in Olympic competition. We try and bring as much media attention as we can to events like this on the IKA circuit, but what we do is going to be as nothing compared with the amount of attention and photography and TV footage that all these riders are going to be. They're going to be under the microscope in 2 months' time. At the Olympic Games.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that makes it special. It also is one of the things that I think some people rise to that special occasion and others feel crushed by it.
Yeah, it could certainly add a lot of pressure. Yeah, that is a very good point. I mean, yeah, it's all part of the games, and when you reach such high performance and such important events, then it obviously the attention is more and more, and the expectations as well, and that's a tricky thing to be dealing with. So we'll see how Axel does on that one. But for now, we focus on this final, which sees the best in the world and sees Axel, Valentin Pontus, Maximilian Meida and Riccardo Pianosi. Maximilian Meida with 2 race wins already, and Riccardo with 1 that they've carried from the Gold Fleet Racing. So Mazzella and Pontus will have to win the race 3 times in order to take home the gold medal.
Yeah, that seems like a tall ask, especially against somebody like Max Maida. But now is their opportunity to do something special. We're building up to the start of the first race of the final. This is the Formula Kite World Championship, the 6th day, and we're just about to see the medals decided in either this coming race or the races, depending on whether Max Maida can see it out in one go. It's Max Maida wearing yellow. And Max Maida with quite a conservative approach to the start. And if that's a clear start, that was not the best of starts for Max Maida. He obviously didn't want to push as much as the others. You certainly don't want to be over. And we have had some UFD disqualifications. So we've seen people pushing the start. But at the moment, it's Maida on the right, Pianosi in the blue further over to the left, and then Pontus in the green, and then on the far left it's Axel Mazzella, the French rider, wearing the red.
Looked like a really good start from Riccardo, I would say. That might have put Max in a tricky spot. We'll see if it was a clear start. Hopefully it was. So this is Valentin tacking.
Valentin Pontus from Austria, the first attack. They're pretty close to that ley line already, so I wonder if... is there going to be a tangle? Oh, what's happened? There's a tie-up between 2 of the riders. It looks like
Riccardo
Pianosi and Axel Mazzella have tied themselves in knots, so that's taken out the competition. Now it's up to Valentin Pontus, who's already tacked off and was probably very grateful that he did. It's up to Valentin Pontus to hold back Max Maida. At the moment, it looks like the battle to get to the top is going to be between Pontus and Maida. And there's just a replay, the moment when Mazzella and Pianozzi tied themselves in knots. They got their kites caught up together, and that could be the decider of the World Championship right there, depending on what Valentin Bontas manages to do at the top of the racetrack.
We just got the information that it was a clear start, so no UFGs.
And it's Maida who goes around just ahead of Bontas. So as things stand now, this would be the World Championship decided if Max Maida is able to hold on. So Valentin Bontas, it's in your hands to keep this World Championship alive beyond this next race. Max Maida briefly looking over his shoulder quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. I think he was trying to find the perfect moment to drive, maybe seeing what Valentin was up to behind him.
Singapore's Max Maida with a narrow lead over Valentin Bontas from Austria, and then Riccardo Pianozzi in third place. Axel Mazzella still some way back in fourth.
It's going to be really hard to catch up with Max once he's on the lead. It's quite hard to take that from him.
Protest pending. Well, we can assume, but we don't know, that it might be to do with that tangle between Pianozzi and Mazzella. But meanwhile, it's Axel Mazzella has a penalty against him, we've just heard, so that I'm sure would be coming from the tie-up with Pianozzi. But Mazzella is back in last place right now anyway, and the battle that we're more concerned with is, can Valentin Bontas in green? No, a brief crash there by Valentin Bontas. That's just going to make life a little bit easier for Max Maida. Simultaneous tacks. Here comes a replay. It's a moment when Valentin Bontas is just getting level, but then he doesn't. Just a briefest of crashes, but good recovery by Valentin Bontas.
I mean, he must be pushing so much to try and catch Max, so it does happen sometimes. It's almost crash, but yeah, glad to see him. He's back on the board and back pushing to try and get Max.
Such a good recovery to be able to have that kind of splashdown and maintain control of the board and the kite. But it doesn't make his life any easier trying to catch Max Maida back up. Here goes Max Maida going into the tack. This could be the last tack of the World Championship if things stand the way they are, because Max Maida only needs to win this race and he will see out the world title. He will successfully defend the World Championship from 2023. And if Max Maida wins here, he will go to the Olympic Games as the reigning world champion. Valentin Bontas, what can you do? Everyone is relying on you. Right now, Axel Mazzella and Riccardo Pianozzi are wishing all speed to Valentin Bontas, because that's the only chance remaining to take the world title away from Max Maida. Max Maida completes the second last jibe of this race. He's only got one more jibe before the bottom of the race course. And how hard do you think he's pushing right now, Sophia?
He's looking quite calm, but we were saying this the other day as well, when where he looks so, he almost looks like he's not pushing. But yeah, that must just be the stance on the board. He is just on his last reach.
Here he comes.
Oh my.
The last few seconds, and Max Maida, the reigning world champion from 2023, is about to cross the finish line. And what kind of reaction will we see from the young Singaporean? The 17-year-old takes the world title for the second year running. Congratulations, Max Maida.
Amazing.
He's done it. And there is the celebration.
Very, very pleased with his performance.
He's done it again.
Oh, that must be such a good feeling. Such a young age, incredible performance, incredible week. Like, he's been dominating the regatta. So he definitely got what he deserved from this week. It's incredible to see. What a great rider.
He puts so much into this. He's so professional. It's so easy to forget that he's still only 17 years old. And no one works harder for moments like this than Max Mader. He's so dedicated, and he will be going to the Olympic Games as the clear favourite in the men's competition, as the reigning world champion. And there, a big hug with his coach, Johnny Dolence. And for Riccardo Pianozzi, going into the day with the blue bib, he will take the silver medal. And Valentin Bontas will take the bronze medal. So he goes one better than his previous record. Valentin Bontas was 4th last year. He gets onto the podium for the first time in a world championship. And Riccardo Pianozzi, I think he's got onto the podium before. I think maybe he got 3rd at the Worlds a few years back. But this is his best performance. And so we've got 2 extremely young riders in 1st and 2nd. And Valentin, well, no one's old in this game, are they?
Yeah. Absolutely amazing performance from Riccardo as well. I mean, with such a solid week, he truly deserves this silver medal. And yeah, he's so young as well. Like how incredible. And yeah, just right before the Olympics, that must give them a big confidence boost to get into it with with a winning mindset.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations to Max Mader. We will take a quick break. We'll be back to you shortly for the start of the women's final.
Meet the R1 V4, our highest performance Olympic and IKA registered racing machine.
Three minutes to the start of the women's final, and so we've got three French riders in the women's final, and the only non-French rider is Great Britain's Ellie Aldridge. So, can Great Britain win the World Championship? Can Ellie Aldridge beat those 3 French riders who also took the podium at the recent European Championships in Spain? Lauriane Nolot winning the gold, Jessie Campman taking the silver, and Poema Newland taking the bronze. So these girls have got form. The French riders are going to be very hard to beat, but Ellie Aldridge is going to be doing her level best to do that. She's finished 2nd in the World Championships, yet to win a world title. Well, now is her moment and opportunity.
Yeah, but she's an extremely solid rider. I mean, like, she is always at the top, no matter what, no matter the conditions. So she absolutely has a chance at this world title. But, I mean, the French riders are very hard to beat as well. So we'll see. We were just talking about this yesterday, weren't we, about, like, the 3 French girls being so strong and always at the top.
And how many of these 3 French riders are actually local to here?
So I believe Poema is definitely local, and Lauriane as well. I think the 3 of them actually. I mean, for sure they know this place like very, very, very well, because they must be training here a lot. It's such a beautiful place to train, and with such good conditions all year long. So.
And water quality, the nature of the water changes from venue to venue as well. And all those small details really matter on boards like this. So I don't know if that gives any kind of local advantage in terms of the feel of the board through this particular type of water. And tactically, I think it's fairly straightforward today, isn't it? I think everyone has seen that the left-hand side is paying. So I don't think there's too many secrets or surprises in store in that sense, but I just wonder if there is any marginal advantage through this being your training ground, because you literally know the water better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, for sure, knowing the place really, really well helps because it gives you a lot of confidence. You've been there many times and you know that the water and the board setup is perfect. So we're seeing a port starter. That would be Ellie Aldridge and the 3 French riders on starboard. Let's see, are they gonna, is Ellie gonna be able to cross in front, or is she gonna have to cross them right behind?
Yeah, I'd be surprised if she goes for the in front.
Yeah.
That would be brave. I mean, I'm not
Very brave.
not to say it couldn't happen in a 5 seconds time. We're about to find out, but I'm quite surprised that Ellie Aldridge is going for the port tack approach here. We haven't really seen the right hand side of the racetrack work for anybody else so far, but off she goes. So Great Britain going out to the right and 3 French riders going out to the left, and that's Lauriane Nolot at the bottom of our picture. And then just to windward of her, I would say, with
Poema.
slightly better starts, Poema Newland and Jessie Campman. But Lauriane Nolot going fast and low right now. It's a clear start, so we have got a clean fight between 4 riders. Aldridge going out to the right, out of picture. And then Lauriane Nolot, Jessie Campman and Poema Newland going out to the left.
Ellie Aldridge with a lot of speed.
On the far side, yeah, good speed on the far side. Nolot has tacked early. She's going to have to go underneath the others. So first marginal advantage to Poema Newland and Jessie Campman with marginally better starts. Newland and Campman going further out to the left, and I'm wondering why Nolot tacked as early as she did. I think she felt that if she tacked any later, then the other 2 French riders would be maybe tacking on her air. So I feel like that's a slight disadvantage to Lauriane Nolot in the early stages.
Let's see if the decision of Ellie paid off going to the right side. It looks like Lauriane might be crossing her in front, but we're about to see.
Meanwhile, here are the 2 riders on the far side, Jessie Campman and Poema Newland. Jessie Campman with the small advantage over Poema Newland. Campman on the left. Lauriane Nolot has tacked, and it looks like Nolot, if she's on ley line, is some way ahead of Ellie Aldridge. So Aldridge's port tack start and break to the right hasn't really worked that well for her. It looks like it's going to be Nolot going around in the lead. And so remember that Nolot, as the yellow bib wearer, is already on match point. So if she can hold on to this race win, like Max Mader, she would win the World Championship with just a single race. So it's time for the other French riders, Campman and Newland, to get their skates on, as well as Ellie Aldridge, the great British rider. Lauriane Nolot doing around 30 knots of speed down the course. Very similar speeds by the riders behind, but Nolot already jibed and with quite a distance advantage in these early stages.
Yeah, quite a bit of a gap there.
Lauriane Nolot with the head cam on her helmet. Everyone's going to be wearing head cams at the Olympic Games, by the way. That's what I hear, and that we're going to be getting live footage directly off head cams, which, if we do that, would be some of the most amazing coverage that we'll see at the Olympic Games. Lauriane Nolot just about to round the bottom of the course. The reigning world champion, currently on course to successfully defend her title on home waters.
Looking very, very fast, and followed by Jessie and Ellie extremely close, and Poema right behind them.
And remind me, Lauriane Nolot rides on a Levitas foil?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so whereas Poema and Ellie on a Chupanga foil.
So Nolot on the, some people say the less stable but sometimes faster foil.
And Jessie as well on the Levitas.
Jessie Campman also on the Levitas, and the other 2 riders on the Chubanga. But so much of this is down to personal style as well, what you like. But it's fly surfer kites across the board.
Yeah.
And so not much difference in terms of the technology being used up in the sky. And we're running out of time for the others to be able to attack. Ellie Aldridge on the far side has tacked onto starboard, but still some way back from Lauriane Nolot, who is about to tack. Her kite swings up into the sky. That's potentially the last tack of this championship here and here. If Lauriane Nolot can hold on to the wind. Oh, bit of a splashdown. Who was that? That was new.
That was Poema Newland, yeah.
Lauriane Nolot goes round the top mark with a bit of a gap. It's Jessie Campman and Ellie Aldridge who were chasing, and now Poema Newland after that splashdown a little bit further back in fourth.
So yeah, it looks like Lauriane now has quite a bit of space between her and Jessie.
She's got quite a sort of a pointy up board stance, the way that she rides downhill. Certainly fast, but quite different to some of the other riders. Nolot now safely onto Port Jibe, followed by Jessie Campman and Ellie Aldridge. Nolot coming down towards the bottom of the course. Can she do what Max Mader has just done? Can the defending world champion from 2023 see out this race and win the World Championships in the first and what potentially will be the only race of these women's finals? Final jibe completed. Back into speed stance.
She just has to get across the reach fine, and the world title will be confirmed.
So here comes Lauriane Nolot. No better place to win a world championship than in your home country, on your home waters, just a couple of kilometers away from where you live. And Lauriane Nolot wins another world title. Congratulations to the French rider, punching the air and confirming her status as the world #1. And she goes to this Olympic Games, Paris 2024, as one of France's hot favorites for a gold medal.
Yeah, we can hear everybody quite excited on the beach. Yeah, she's done incredibly, and I mean, she's at the top of her game, isn't she? So very, very nice to see her win in home waters.
There are times when I felt like Lauriane Nolot hasn't sailed at her best, but when you can still not sail at your best and still win the World Championship,
yeah, that is.
You know that you're good.
I mean, everybody has good and bad days, so I mean, she's human after all, but incredible, and she took it home at the first final, so no chance for anyone else to attack.
Well, we are going to go and try and interview our newly confirmed world champions, Max Mader and Lauriane Nolot, on the beach here in the south of France. So we'll see if we can catch a chat, possibly with Max Mader and then Lauriane Nolot when she comes ashore. That's Lauriane celebrating with her team. We'll go to a break. We'll be back to you shortly when we will be on the beach. So here we are on the beach. We're going to see if we can get our new world champions, Max Mader. Let's see if we can get Max over for an interview.
Hello, hi.
Max, congratulations. You've done it again.
Yeah, I guess so.
How does it feel second time round?
Just as punchy as the first one, I must say. Just as emotional, just as tight. And I mean, this is rare, but I'm at a loss for words. I'm just trying to process this right now.
I see your mum is here to help you celebrate. Your whole family is into kiting. These moments must be so special. I know winning your first World Championship was amazing.
Yeah.
What's it like doing it again?
I don't know. I think I value consistency and being able to show that we can race in strong competition, and managing to pull it off again, you know, makes it just as sweet as the last time. And what an experience this was this week here.
Now, what about when the two of your competitors tied themselves up in knots in that first tack out of the line? Were you aware of what was happening at the time?
I guess I had the best view of it. I had the front row seat to it, which is unfortunate, really. It's a shame to both of them, and I really wish that we could have had some good competition. But hey, sometimes you get some bad luck, and that's racing. So, you know, fortune smiled upon me today by not getting tangled up into that mess.
So you've sailed consistently well through the last couple of seasons. You are going to the Olympic Games as the clear favourite. I mean, to carry the world title into the Olympic Games, that's got to give you a lot of confidence.
I think it gives me more reassurance of my support, because the people that stand behind me have helped me come here. You know, sponsors, the federation, family, coach, training partner, all of this has come together. And I think I'm more happy that it reassures them that they've been doing the right thing for me, and I hope they're just as happy as I am.
Winning a gold medal, whether it's a World Championship or Olympic Games, that's a very big deal from any country. But for Singapore, that must be particularly special. We don't see that much success in sailing at this level for Singapore, so that must make you a very big deal at home. I'm sure the whole of Singapore is cheering for you today.
Well, to everyone at home, I hope you enjoyed the show.
It's an amazing show, Max. Congratulations. You saw it out in fine style. So go and celebrate with your family.
I will do so.
And we wish you the best of luck for the Olympic Games.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Max. And now we're going to see if we can get our new world champion in the women's division, Lauriane Nalot. And so Lauriane, she is confirming herself as the world #1 in the women's world, isn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she must have felt a bit of pressure, but I mean, she managed it super well, and she took the title home for the second time, and what an amazing thing, just right before the Olympics. And as we said with Max, surely it must give them a big confidence boost just ready for the Olympics. So she's just here. We might get a few words.
Lauriane, congratulations.
Where's
There's the camera, way up there, way up there.
Yeah, but you know, usually my parents are watching the live, but now they're on the beach, so it's better, huh?
Lauriane, you've done this right where you live. You're trying to buy a house locally. I mean, they're going to give you a house now, aren't they?
No, I still have to pay for my house, unfortunately. Maybe one day, but it's too soon. In 2 months.
So in 2 months' time, you've got the Olympic Games. How important is it for you, for your confidence to win the World Championship again?
Wow, it felt so good. So good to be here at home, to have the second world title. I was super stressed because, like, I know the French girls are on fire. But yeah, thanks to them, I think like we're pushing the level so high. So yeah, I'm feeling more and more confident for the games, and now I can't wait to start it.
Absolutely. I know you're not going to like me for this. I feel like you haven't actually sailed at your very best this week, and yet you still managed to win the World Championship in one race in the final. Is that a fair assessment, that you haven't quite sailed your best, but you're still the world champion?
Yeah, I think the first 3 days I was really on fire, and then after I got a bit sick during the gold, so I was just trying to manage my energy at my best to be on fire today. So yeah, it was a lot of resting, physio, trying to sleep as much as possible. And yeah, I'm feeling super great today, so it's absolutely amazing.
Well, I'm sure your chickens at home will have been watching. They must be very proud of you and the rest of your family. So very best of luck for the next couple of months. You've got a lot riding on this. You've now won a world championship on home waters. Now you've got to win an Olympic Games on home waters. Yeah. Could be a pretty special year for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm really excited for this year, and yeah, it's pretty amazing what is happening to me until now. So yeah, I will see in 2 months. I'm a bit out of word, but yeah, I'm really excited.
Lauriane, you absolutely deserve it. Great to see you smiling. I know you haven't felt that well this week, but still you come through with flying colours. You've been wearing the yellow bib all week, and now you have the gold medal. So very, very best to you for this week.
Thank you very much, Andy. I hope to see you soon.
See you soon, Lauriane.
Yeah, and thank you, Sophia. Good luck. Amazing live. Thank you.
And
Yeah, it's 2 kisses in France.
so, and just to say, Sophia, our silver medalist is Ellie Aldridge, and Jessie Campman. She takes the bronze. Is that correct?
Yeah. And so two French girls on the podium, and Ellie with the silver medal. Amazing.
And as for the men behind Max Mader taking the gold, you must be very pleased to see Riccardo Pianozzi getting his best ever finish at a World Championship, the Italian taking silver, and Valentin Bontas from Austria gets up to the podium for the first time in a World Championship. So super happy for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I love to see an Italian flag on the podium, and that is truly amazing. And Riccardo deserves it, and I think he worked really, really well with the federation and everything to get there. So he truly deserves it. And same for Valentin. I mean, truly amazing. So, and just again, like right before the Olympics, what a great result for all of them.
Sophia Tomasoni, one of the best riders in the world, been an absolute privilege and honour to have you commentating alongside me today. So from me, Andy Rice, from Sophia Tomasoni, and from the rest of the crew here on the beach in here, thank you so much for watching today, and for all the riders making their debut in kiteboarding at the Olympic Games. We wish all of them the best. It's going to be the fastest sport in all of the Summer Olympics. It's going to be amazing to watch it there. So we can't wait to see kiteboarding presented to the rest of the world. So thank you for watching, and see you in a couple of months at the Olympic Games. See you then.